Hello everyone, my name is Candace Wilson and this is the AgVocacy Project. So to get things started, I would like to begin with a brief introduction of where I came up with the idea for this project. First and foremost, it is important to recognize that the global population will reach well over 9 billion people by the year 2050. With this dramatic increase in world population comes a unique set of challenges for our world. Economically speaking, the middle class is continuing to rise as countries such as China and India develop. This middle class boom will lead to a more extensive global economy as consumer demand continues to rise. Second, it is important to understand the health aspects associated with this rise in population. People are living longer, and as a result, they will continue to be present in economic markets longer. This brings us to our last and perhaps most important key consideration: agriculture. Agriculture has the heaviest burden of any industry placed on it by this population boom. As populations rise, urbanization will increase, leaving the world's farmers and ranchers less land, fuel, and water to produce than ever before. Additionally, as the middle class rises, as mentioned before, consumers will begin seeking to know more about how their food in particular is produced. This issue poses two problems for the agricultural sector. One, the lack of communication on behalf of food producers on why their practices are safe and ethical, and two, the incredible amount of misinformation surrounding agriculture that is easily available to consumers. While there are numerous hot-button issues with readily available misinformation in agriculture, I would just like to touch on a few of the most common topics that the agricultural industry fails to properly address. First would be the use of genetically engineered foods. There is a wealth of inaccurate information surrounding GMO use that claims that range from they cause cancer to they are less healthy than organic. The fact of the matter is, GMOs have continually upheld scrutiny by the scientific community. They are considered safe by multiple organizations, specifically the FDA, and have zero nutritional difference when compared with organic food. The next myth to be debunked concerns animal health and welfare. Organizations such as HSUS and the ASPCA use emotionally charged campaigns to raise millions of dollars for their cause that allegedly helps animals. But where does that money actually go? HSUS's money isn't going to the animals, according to Washington, D.C. watchdog Charity Navigator, who has issued them a donor advisory warning. Organizations such as these actually intend to end animal agriculture through the funneling of donated funds into lobbying for anti-ranching legislation. This issue goes hand in hand with the next myth, that animals are poorly raised on factory farms before they are slaughtered. In reality, the EPA reports that 97% of farms in the United States are family-owned and are only incorporated for tax purposes. So how do I propose we begin to bridge the gap between agriculture and the consumers? I am advocating for the creation and implementation of a 3-credit-hour course at K-State titled Agricultural Advocacy and Public Relations. The course would be required of all College of Ag students in order to better prepare young professionals entering the industry on better combating the misinformation surrounding agriculture and how to educate consumers on the importance of conventional agricultural practices. Kansas State University has a well-defined process by which courses are approved and submitted to the Board of Regents, as described by the 2014 Course and Curriculum Manual. In order for this course to move forward for Board of Regents approval, it must first be presented at one of the College of Agriculture bi-yearly committee meetings, discussed by a panel of faculty, administrators, and students, and approved. From there, it would then be presented and approved by the Faculty Senate, where it would be sent on to the Registrar's Office. The Registrar's Office will then submit the course to the Provost Office, who will present the proposal to the Board of Regents. Should the Board of Regents request no further information, it can then be implemented at the university level. After Board of Regents approval, the course would move into Phase 2, where it will be passed back down to the college and action by Dean Floros. Ideally, the Assistant Dean of Academic Programs would then work closely with the department head and faculty within the Agricultural Communications and Education Department to develop a curriculum that places special emphasis and focuses on the principles of effective communication techniques, such as the emotional appeals used by agricultural opponents, role of communication in agriculture, as well as how communication can either be a powerful public relations tool or it can be a hindrance in furthering positive perception of agriculture, fundamental of public relations, how public relations techniques can be employed in the agricultural industry, and tools for successful communication and advocacy, the biggest of which would have to be social media and the power of grassroots campaigns. Lastly, would be goal setting and the development of learning outcomes, which would then be evaluated in Phase 3. The final phase in implementing the course requires constant assessment of student learning to ensure the course has value for students, the college and university, as well as the agricultural industry as a whole, in conjunction with the Department and Academic Programs Office. The curriculum should then be constantly reevaluated based on success of K-State College of Ag graduates' ability to advocate for the industry, recommendations by industry professionals, comparisons with agricultural institutions with comparable courses, and any pertinent data or statistics. In regards to faculty to teach the course, the department is currently not staffed adequately to take on teaching that many students. At least 2 additional faculty would need to be hired. Ideal candidates would have a PhD in agricultural communications, education, leadership, or a related field, or a PhD in communications or public relations with special understanding and emphasis of the ag sector. Additional qualifications of the position would include an individual that is approachable, outgoing, and people-oriented due to the large number of students they would be responsible for educating, and most importantly, an excellent researcher, as they would be responsible for continually updating their curriculum with the newest and most effective public relations and communications techniques. Table 1 illustrates the estimated costs associated with paying 2 additional faculty members. In terms of initial highest cost scenarios, 2 PhD candidates hired by K-State at the associate professor pay grade, the average cost to the College of Ag for both faculty members would be $170,272.60 annually. With 278 students within the College of Agriculture, direct revenues of $166,800 per year would be generated by the per credit hour fee. The course would also instill in K-State graduates a sense of pride and duty to serve the agricultural industry, which could potentially increase retention rates within the college. Additionally, there would be numerous external benefits. As students learn more real-world and industry-specific communication techniques, the industry should also see an increase in demand as consumer perception becomes more favorable to the conventional agricultural sector. With an anticipated population of 9 billion people by 2050, it is evident that the agricultural industry has an immense challenge facing it, and the microscope that is currently placed on agricultural production will only intensify. It is imperative that moving forward with this intense scrutiny surrounding agriculture comes a generation of professionals that are equipped to defend the industry from whatever misinformation opposes it. As agricultural advocacy and public relations course offered by Kansas State could immensely contribute to having a positive consumer perception of agricultural products and practices by bridging the gap of all the misinformation that currently surrounds conventional agriculture. Not only would the course provide industry benefits, it would also benefit the K-State College of Agriculture by generating funds, renewing students' passion for agriculture, and contributing to greater retention within the college. I would like to thank you for taking the time to watch this proposal. Should you need clarification concerning any portion of it, please feel free to contact me by email at clwilson@ksu.edu. Thank you.